What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Bodacious Rant, joined by me and Burn. Burn and Rye, really, is what it's really called. Hope everybody's doing good, getting your Christmas shopping done, or, surviving the holidays with whatever drink you have. Water, gin and tonic. I don't know what it is, but I know this movie, there's a lot of people that are going through something like that. Anyways, with all the news around Netflix and stuff and Paramount, it's one of those things like, sometimes I really hate Netflix, but this is one of those movies that's like, damn it, I'm kind of glad it came out on there, but I'm not going to get too much into that. We're talking about the third win from Rian Johnson on Netflix, which is, or technically the second win, but third in his movies, and that is Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery with returning character Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. And also just another all-star cast of actors, Kaylee Spaney, Mila Kunis, Andrew Scott, Jeremy Renner, Thomas Hayden Church, Glenn Close, and so on and so forth. This is, even though it's on Netflix, we're still going to keep this spoiler-free because this is definitely something Bern and I want everyone to watch. Like, the Knives Out trilogy so far has just been mwah, chef's kiss, because it's just 3 for 3 wins. Not a lot of directors can say that for, a sequel, like, franchise, essentially. So if you guys did like the movie, or, just like tuning in, Burn and Rye, you like the Niners, or in Burn's case, you like the Chargers, feel free to give us that thumbs up, and show your support for everything. Ring the bell for notifications, and, of course, subscribe. We appreciate you all for that, so thank you so much. So, yeah, Wake Up Dead Man is another, like, part of the Knives Out series. Definitely, they're kind of anthologies, so you don't have to watch each one for anything like that. But this one is where Josh O'Connor from the tennis movie last year, I'm blanking on the name right now. Challengers, thank you, Bernie. He is a new priest sent to this small church trying to save it. And in his way is Josh Brolin, who is just this interesting Monsignor. I'm not super religious, so if I do I don't know the rankings and all that stuff, so bear with me on that. But essentially, Josh Brolin is just a stubborn old goat, and Benoit Blanc is sent in to solve his impossible murder. And by impossible, like, no one can figure it out. So, this was one of those ones, like, I really loved. The first one came out in theaters in 2019, which was amazing. The last one, kind of like this one, had a brief like weekend in theaters. The last one was Knives Out, Glass Onion Knives Out mystery. That was a few years ago. So this one I was excited for, and again, it did not disappoint. Rian Johnson he is the mystery writer right now of this generation. I mean, there's not a lot of mystery movies out there right now, but if you're definitely in, like, the mood for, like, comedy, a little bit of thriller, and, just crime and drama and stuff, this is the movies you've been wanting to watch. But, Bern, what did you think about this one? Did it live up to any of your expectations? Were you disappointed by it? Have at it.
I mean, just to jump off your last point, he has kind of been the one sort of cornering the market in this genre. As you mentioned, the 3 Knives Out movies that he's now done, and also the show Poker Face, for people who haven't or watched that or haven't heard of that. That's on Peacock. So that's one that, if these movies scratch your itch, that show should definitely too. I think it's only got about 2 seasons now, so that's another fun one to check out. But I mean, what he's done with all 3 of these movies now is he's given us 3 very unique sort of takes on the murder mystery genre. Each feels tonally distinct from the other, and each one handles its central mystery differently, and it has all these different themes that are very distinct for each movie and for each setting and for the cast of characters that we get in these movies. So while this genre in and of itself, the murder mystery genre, is one that people are familiar with, the way he plays around with it and subverts expectations, whether playing into certain tropes or turning tropes on top of their heads, he keeps it very fresh and fun. And like you said, 3 movies in, and it still feels really fun and fresh and great. I had a great time with this movie. Like you, I am a little bit disappointed that this didn't have a full-on theatrical release, and this was one I wasn't able to catch in the theaters, unlike the last 2, where the first one, like you said, had a full-on theatrical release. The second one had a little bit of a limited release, and this one even more so, which sucks, because there's a lot of love and passion put into this movie. Ryan Johnson and his cinematographer, Steve Yedelin, who've done these three movies together, they put so much in the image in this one in particular. Where the last two they were very visually rich and a lot of fun. This one, there's so much depth to the image in this movie, in playing off of the themes of religion that we get in this, and these characters and their sort of conflicting ideologies, and the way that they represent that in a lot of the shots that we get, and how creative they get with lenses, lens distortion, and playing around with colors, and even just lighting within a scene itself. It's just so much fun to not only just watch these characters bounce off of each other, but to also pay attention to the things that are going on around them to sort of like enhance what's going on in the scene. There's just a lot of really good work being done here that it feels almost like a crime that needs to be solved. That this is just stuck on Netflix. And as much as I was frustrated with, Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's movie a month ago getting this similar treatment, that rings true for me here, because I think this movie was just a knockout, man. Like I said, like just the craft at display here, from the writing, how tight this script is, to the performances. You and I were talking about this in our own private conversations, but I think this movie, while the ensemble is less of a focus, the actual performances themselves feel like they could be the strongest of the series. Josh O'Connor, who was great in Challengers, puts on, I think, probably the best leading performance of these Knives Out movies. And I know Ana de Armas was great, and I'm forgetting her name from the last movie, but she did such a great job in that one.
Janelle Monáe.
Janelle Monáe, yes, in her dual role in that last movie. But Josh O'Connor brings such an interesting depiction of a priest that we haven't gotten, and it feels like in movies that handle religion and those topics. And I think he brings such an interesting spin on this character who's just trying to do his best with the circumstances he's put in. So I thought he did such a fantastic job. I mean, Daniel Craig's it feels like he was born to play this role. I know that people are probably going to look back and think of him as only James Bond, but for me and for my money, I think Benoit Blanc is just that character for him. I think him and Rian Johnson have such a fun job in bringing this character to life, and you can tell he's having a great time doing it. And there's a level of depth that we get to his character in this movie in particular. That was a lot of fun, because it feels like with each movie we're learning a little bit more about him, and this one much more so than the others. So I really dug that. But Glenn Close, man, she's been in this industry for a very, very long time, and she gives a fantastic performance in this movie. I can't say too much without giving a lot of away, but what she's able to bring to the role is it feels like no one else could have done it but her. So just overall, from top to bottom, this movie was just sort of a master class in all the different departments that work to make a movie. So yeah, I just had, as a fan of this series, I had a great time with this one.
100%. I mean, this one definitely is the longest one of the series, so that was something at first to tackle, but honestly, the pacing is solid. The performances are good, even though this one, kind of like how Byrne alluded to, like the cast that we have in this one, it wasn't completely utilized, I feel like, as much as the last one, or maybe even the first one. I would think the second one, The Glass Onion, utilized the entire cast the most. So maybe that's why I enjoyed it almost a little bit more than the first, but it's really just the performances by Glenn Close, Daniel Craig, and Josh O'Connor that drove this movie for me. Like, if everybody was gone, it'd be a bummer, but, they satisfied it enough for me. And even Josh Brolin, this is another reason why I'm like, he needs to keep doing more comedy, because he's just such an interesting dude. I can't say much to it without spoiling it, but just some of the things that he says and does in this movie is like, this is not godlike, sir. You need Jesus, and he's supposed to be a priest. So, it was just great, man. I can't praise it enough. I am pissed that it came out during like Thanksgiving weekend. So it was one of those things like, it was just poorly timed theater-wise, but it is what it is. I'm just glad that this movie did not disappoint. I'm giving this a hard 5 out of 5. I think this is one of the strongest movies of the year. Definitely one to help round out this year, 2025. Um, yeah, I can't recommend this enough. If you have Netflix or have a way to watch this somewhere, definitely do it. This is one of the movies you don't want to miss this year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think if you have a Netflix subscription, you almost owe it to yourself to check this movie out. You know, as someone who's grown up religious and isn't really religious as much, the conversations and the topics and the themes that this movie sort of discusses. There was a lot here for me to dig into and a lot of things that I really enjoy on a personal level. So when I say personally, this I think this might be my favorite of the trilogy. I don't know if it's like the best movie of the trilogy. That's yet to be seen. The first one and the second one are incredibly strong, but just there were a lot of things in this movie that I found like really interesting and I connected with a lot. So there was a lot going on here that I really enjoyed digging into, and it's one of those movies that when you think about it and look think back on it and pick out, oh wow, that they were laying these things. It's just a fun movie to dissect and to really like pick into, and that's always a lot of fun because whenever you watch a movie and you kind of forget about it, that's just kind of not the experience that I really enjoy. But with this movie, it's given me the things that I really do like. So yeah, it is definitely one of my favorites of the year. Again, I'm really annoyed that this wasn't given the full theatrical release. Um, where I land on it now, I think I would probably have to give it a 4 out of 5, just because there's a few things in there that looking back on it, like it feels like a little bit. I don't want to say too much about it, but there are certain things in there that sort of like I'm still trying to dig into and see like why certain things are feel a little bit convenient in a way just to wrap the story up. But yeah, it's those things that I can't really discuss because it is about like how the movie resolves itself. But this one I highly recommend. Again, 4 out of 5 could be a 5 out of 5 on a rewatch. Either way, this is one that you definitely need to check out and one of my favorites of the year so far. I say that, and we're just at the end of the year, so it's like there's a few movies coming out that I'm really looking forward to. But if this doesn't make my list, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, the top 10 is going to be a struggle this year, not going to lie. But we'll have to see. We still got Marty Supreme coming out, Avatar 3, Fire and Ash. So we'll have to see how the rest of the year plays out the next couple weeks, really. But yeah, so 5 out of 5 for me, 4 out of 5 for Burn for the third Knives Out movie. For those of you who did happen to catch it this weekend when it dropped, feel free to let us know what you thought about it in the comments. No spoilers, of course. And yeah, as again, hope everybody's doing good and all positivity out there for the holiday season. So until next time, everyone, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.